Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Mario Kart board stream. Today, we have week 1 of the Mario Kart Professional Series Summer Split, and we're kicking it off with Charge Brigade versus WollywogZ, two super strong teams, some of the highest CP in the league right now. And to join me for this cast, once again, my good friend and co-commentator, Mr. Yoshter.
Yep, it's good to be back. It's good to have some Mario Kart Wii for this MKPS Summer Split. Obviously two D1 teams, like you just said. And what else? Kick this off with Friday time, MKW at 8 o'clock.
Yep, should be a lot of fun. So let's just get right into it. Let's take a look at the lineups. All right, on Charge Brigade side, we have Storm, Trix, Zero, Wally, and Prove doing the bagging. For the WollywogZ, we got Edison, who will be watching, Casperinos, Quinn, TK, and Skyleaf doing the bagging. Now, Yoshter, during the spring split, you were a member of Charge Brigade, obviously, part of their starting lineup. Now we're seeing Storm, we're seeing Wally. What do you expect from this team now going forwards?
Well, it's definitely a shake-up, but they're active players. They've been around the game for a while, so they definitely still have potential. They still have a pretty high ceiling. But obviously, I mean, it's tough, when you change your starting roster. I mean, they just got to work on chemistry more, and I think we'll have that. Depends on how well they play consistently, driving-wise, and if they don't make too many mistakes, they should be in this one.
Yeah, for sure. Now, WollywogZ predicted one of the top teams, obviously. Been playing together for a long time. This is a very classically WZ lineup, I think. Obviously, they have Shawn and they have Pachu on their roster, not using them tonight. Going with a lineup that has a ton of chemistry, a lot of scrims together. And though they have the reputation of being some Mogi mains, they have been playing a lot of scrims lately. So I think that any concerns with their chemistry or game style are pretty much in the past for the most part by this point.
Yeah, the Mogi mains, they've been warring a lot more. I've been seeing, I think, Casper, Edison, and Quinn all warring for USA East in scrims, yep. I believe. So, I mean, they're even working together with that. I mean, it's just nice to see that more and more. It's nice to see more activity for wars. Just nice to see that increase.
Definitely. So, two strong teams. Going to be a really good one. Yoshter, who do you have for MVP? We'll go first.
Well, I look at the two teams, to be honest, I think WZ has a little bit of an edge over CB, but I think on individual play, I think maybe Trix, if he's going to keep this one close, he's going to have to put up some points, so I'm going to go Trix with individual points for MVP.
Yeah, Trix definitely one of their stronger runners. Definitely his strong point is being in the front, but obviously at this level of play, you got to be able to do everything. But obviously CB wants to see him in the front of the pack for the most part. For me, I got to go with the big man Casperinos. He's just been playing so many scrims lately. He's improved so much over the past few years, obviously #1 in Lounge, and his war gameplay and play style has just for sure improved even over the past few weeks from when I've played with him in USA East. So I'm going to go with Casperinos here for MVP. And on top of that, I'm going to take WollywogZ as the winner tonight by 60. 60 points for WollywogZ.
Yeah, I mean, Casper has one of the highest ceilings, I think, for all the people that played the game. Like, in terms of potential-wise, obviously, the ceiling. But yeah. I think sometimes he tends to flop sometimes. So if he works on consistency, I think that's his biggest culprit, actually, is consistency. I sometimes see him make a few mistakes here and there that'll kill his race and detrimental to the team as well. But for the majority of his gameplay, I'd say 90% of it's pretty consistent. He's a really good player, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Bagging battle, Prove and Skyleaf. I think I'm going to give the edge actually to Prove a bit. I've bagged against both of them before. I think Prove has very clean mechanics. He's got a good bagging brain. And Skyleaf, otherwise known as Skady, also very good. But for this, I think I'm going to give the edge to Prove. Just think he's capable of more.
Yeah, I think I'd also agree with you on that. I've seen him warring too and scrimming, and the more you bag, the more you get better.
Mhm.
So the more you learn, and he's definitely improved, and he's made a case for being one of the better baggers lately, at least active.
Yeah, he's definitely been very good lately for CB. Been their main guy for the spring split, and now going into the summer split again. So I believe we have 10 in room, so we should be starting momentarily. WZ, the hosting team, so they're just going to be starting with the odd spots. Charge Brigade, the away team, going to be starting with the even spots. Doesn't make too big of a difference. We're only going to see some of the most basic track breaks that we've been seeing the past few matches come out early, but other than that, not going to make a huge difference whether you're the home or away team, in my opinion. Obviously, you want one of your strongest guys up in the front, which WZ has chosen Casper for that role, and CB obviously going to choose Trix to join room second. So pretty standard for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting in terms of if you want your strongest runner to be second or fourth, depending on what track gets picked. Obviously, you can draft, but then usually nowadays you have first kind of swerve anyway, so you don't really even get the draft. So I think at this point, second's probably the safest. You're going to choose your strongest runner in the day.
Yeah. So one of Charge Brigade's new members, not new members, but to the starting lineup is Storm. How do you think he's going to perform today, Yoshter? Because I believe he's pretty much taking what your slot was last spring split. So this is probably one of the bigger question marks for Charge Brigade.
I think communication is that's something he'd have to work on. I've played a few wars with him where sometimes he kind of goes silent more often than not. But, right. I mean, he's capable. He's a pretty good player. I think he's just a solid player. I don't think there's really much to say about him, honestly. In terms of play style, I mean, I think if you're a high-level player, you just have to be balanced at everything. So if different situations come up, you got to adjust to your role. So if you're first, you got to run. If you're in the mid-pack, you got to schlag. I think that's something that a lot of people realize nowadays. So you have to be a very balanced player. That's why you see Ethereal and Metro Wipeout so top heavy, because they're just so good at everything.
Yeah,
they can have the situations.
Yeah, especially once you're in Division 1, you got to have all your players be able to do pretty much everything. So it's really going to come down to who's the most well-rounded team. And right now, from what we saw from the prediction stream and what we've seen as the results of the tournaments and the splits, Ethereal and MW are definitely the top two teams for that.
So it looks like we got 10 in, right?
Yeah, so we're going to be starting up right about now. So, like I said, we'll be watching Edison. Pretty much known for his pretty strong ability to snipe. Very strong mid-pack player, but can pretty much do anything.
So, any bets for Maple Treeway getting picked first or Donkey Kong Mountain? Very popular 1-3 tracks. Maybe some RBC from the other side of things.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to get RBC from Charge Brigade.
No, it's Dry Dry. The best track in the game, by the way.
DDR. So DDR coming out from the WollywogZ. CB going with GCNMC and RBC. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication here, but a bit of a mixed track here from them with the coordinated teams today.
It's kind of hard to pick 2-4 tracks. I mean, RBC, you could say you can get a draft on fourth, but that's not even really guaranteed. I think it's just more likely because top two and whatnot. It's hard to coordinate your swerves. So
yeah. Well, CB ready, WZ ready. Let's do it. Week 1 of MKPS. Edison starting in third. And we're underway.
I never said it. Edison kind of reminds me of like a mini Casper. Like he's just a little bit worse than Casper, but not by that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is something that I thought about just now.
He's just one of those guys who has very good awareness, and that honestly is one of the things that I think Mogi is good for when it comes to translating skill into wars, is that it just ups your awareness so much and it gives you a good sense of like what's going on around you. And when you work on that so much in Mogi, and then you go into a war and you have other teammates helping you and telling you like what's going on, it just kind of adds, really all adds up together like that pretty well. So that's going to benefit Edison here for sure.
Yeah, so 1-4 for WZ, 2-3 for CB. Very mixed spots already. And one of the biggest things about this track is obviously the ultra shortcut. It saves a ton of time, but it's also one of those tracks where you can get a big enough break. But it looks like CB cracks a lot of mid spots, and that's a great TC pull because he's able to connect on Edison, and he gives it right back. Just like that. That was a really nice pow dodge.
Yeah, really nice pow there. Assuming that's a WZ pow, it's going to give him a top 2 lead here.
Yeah, it was a great call, and that's one of the things I've been watching from US Scrim Wars or WZ-ish Scrim Wars is like their POW usages haven't been really that great from my point of view, but that one was really good.
Yeah.
So
right now we see Pruth is the Daisy bagging, so we do see him in 10th currently by quite a bit. So most likely going to be looking at a CB shock, but it looks like nobody has it yet.
Looks like a 1-3. I mean, still pretty mixed spots. The shock can decide a lot of things. 1-3-4. If WZ has the shock, they're probably going to end up winning this race. But no, looks like a wall glitch chain. And I mean, it looks like I would assume that'd be a CB shock.
That was a CB shock. Quinn looks like he was able to predict it.
Yeah, looks like Quinn does a good job there. Maybe some delayed usage on the shock. And oh, it looks like Zero gets bombed out of midair. And so is Wally. WZ out here making plays.
And that's going to be a top 2 for them. Casperino's with a pretty clean front run that entire race, starting in first. And that's one of the benefits of having DDR when you're starting in first is that if you're able to get a good beginning, you can break away pretty easily, especially if there's not many middle spots taking the ultra shortcut. He was able to just pretty much have a free first place from lap 1. So well played by Casperino's, and looks like Wally was able to capitalize even though CB had the shock.
I mean, that was a hectic finish is what I meant. But yeah. I mean, there might have been 2 bombs, or maybe one of the bombs lagged and trailed someone mid-air on their screen, so they got bombed. And then maybe the player that trailed with the bomb also threw the bomb at Wally and sniped Wally. It was really weird. Maybe there were 2 bombs because it got 2 CB members, one mid-air, one on the pillar.
Yeah. Looks like we got both baggers just chilling. Hopefully we get some results soon. Hopefully the room didn't freeze. Might have a frozen room.
That's a big yikes. Already a tactical timeout, but
yeah. So we see both baggers just kind of sitting there, and we did see Skitty's name tag show up still. So probably a crashed room here, and it looks like WZ did definitely win that race. Top 2, no matter what you get after that, is a winning race.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming they'll be able to count this race.
Yeah.
Assuming there'll be a bunch of point of views. I bet Quinn records. I mean, we're obviously streaming with Edison, so definitely know they got top 2. Probably should know what kind of spots they got, but
yeah,
unless they just end up kicking someone.
So most likely this race will be counting. Hopefully we can get it on our scoreboard as soon as we know. But usually when a room crashes like this, someone's results shows up. So, and if the baggers can kick one of the guys whose name tag is still showing up, then you can get it done. But looks like they're just going to wait it out for a bit. And looks like it was Wally was the issue. So we do see a top 3 from WollywogZ. I don't know if Wally was up there, but on the results we see top 3 from WZ. I think gives them a pretty big lead early on.
Yeah, I think they got top 3, a good start, and I think we should maybe cut to a waiting screen. I mean, I don't have much to talk about after only one race.
So WZ able to capitalize on CB's shock, get a top 3. And we'll be getting a reset here. Might see a substitution for Wally because I think the new rule says you can only have 1 reset. But for lineups, we have a substitution for CB since Wally was the one with the problem with his internet. They will be subbing in Kyle in place.
Oh, Canada Kyle.
Bit of a switch up here for CB. What do you think about it, Yoshter?
I don't think it'll change too much. I think it'll be all right for their substitute.
For those who've been watching the World Cup, I believe it was Kyle who got a 60. I think it was against Team Asia. He's 60 really? Team Asia, so I'm sure he's feeling pretty good going into this.
He's hot then. He's got the hot hand.
So ZB bringing in the hot hand here.
Or do cool down,
Looks like we're about to find out on GCNMC.
All right.
It's like WZ pretty much keeping their same spots. Edison's
Fourth
holding
typically
third.
gets a free draft here because first doesn't usually swerve. We'll see if they actually get the draft.
And looks like they
there's the
do.
draft.
So
Shroom in
Storm
third
gonna
though
take
for Edison.
first.
So he's gonna take that. Oh nope, it's Canada Kyle making moves.
Canada
already.
Kyle making his presence known, goaling up into first, getting a little bit of a lead here. Tricks right behind him.
It's a good start for CB. Any track's runnable if they do a good job in the mid pack or maybe hold a dodge. And Tricks unintentionally slagging, but works out. And then they both hit the Goomba, so some big misplays. But regardless,
Edison hitting the Goomba and then comboing someone there.
a little bit of a clown
nice
fiesta
recovery,
right there. Got a 1-3 for CB, 2-4-5 coming in for WZ at the moment. Triple Stream's pulling fifth. Pretty lucky pull. I think that's around probably 15%.
Usually using Daisy, going with Funky for today. Maybe we'll see it later on in the match, but for now we have an all Funky.
I
room
didn't even
with
notice
Edison
Zero
approved.
was in Daisy, honestly.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's a great triple red pull because they don't have any protection, so Edison goes down, possibly another WZ member, or at least slowing them down. At least. That's where we talk about adapting to your role.
Yeah.
But I think first may have gotten blued from the minimap. They spun out for a while there.
For the bagging battle, we see Prove in 10th by a lot. Yet again, see if he's able to pull it here. And
Looks
it
like
is
that's gonna be a
WollywogZ stock.
Daisy was spinning that, right?
Yeah,
Did you catch it?
that is definitely. Looks like he might have gotten it in 9th there. But we have a 6-8 here from WZ, so CB still might be most of the top spots.
I think it's pretty mixed. Oh, first just got blued again, but it looks like he's still going to get first, whoever that is. Not entirely sure. Probably should have paid attention a little bit more to who dodged, but we see Quinn get around 4th, I think, after dodging. So I think he was the one that ended up dodging as well.
Yeah.
So it could be a pretty
6-7
big race.
for WZ. I think it might have been pretty neutral because we did see some CB members right ahead. So I think it's going to end up being a pretty close race, but with the WollywogZ shot, looks like they maybe could have taken advantage of it a bit more. But Edison not pulling too many dodges despite being in the back pretty much that entire race.
Yeah, I don't think he was really 8th though in any part of the race. You can correct me if I'm wrong though. But 1-3-6-7, so that is a win for WZ. Not a bad salvage for CB considering they got shock on GCN Mario Circuit, but
yeah.
Down 21 after the first race, you'd hope to stop the bleeding immediately, but instead we'll settle for I think around a -3 loss.
Right. It's just one of those tracks where shock is super important, and as a bagger, there's only really one spot to lose Bill unless you want to wait for a piranha plant to come down and hit you. It's just at the chain chomp, and you can't really fall off with it easily, obviously, because there's nowhere to fall off. So when you get Bill, you sometimes have to hold it for a long time, and it looks like that's what might have happened to Prove because Skyleaf was able to just get a bunch of boxes at 9th and just pull it, most likely when Prove had Bill. So pretty easy for him to get it there. And WZ is going to expand on their lead.
What would you pick here? Down 26 and the spots you have right now.
Down 26. I think with 1-3, they're going with Maple. Just easily hop in the cut. Bottom spots don't matter too much as long as you do have first holding it down.
MG. I know Trix doesn't like MG, but he's picking it for the religion of CD, it looks like.
And WZ getting the pick.
Yeah, this track's very dependent around the lower lap one. Sometimes if someone has triple shrooms in 5th or 4th, they can actually shroom up the first around the wiggler section, just because there's just a little bit of a long straight.
See Edison aligned towards the right there, able to get a draft pretty quickly. Nice play there. And he's going to be top 2 going to the cannon with TK.
Not only does he get the draft, but he gets the item as well. He's got to be careful not to trail anyone, though. And you see TK, okay, he's going to still
have
be first.
a couple teammates behind him here. And looks like WZ got the better of this beginning because they are top 3 and breaking away.
Yep, and this track, after the first few turns, not a lot of time you can save on this track. And there's a little bit of a golden strat towards the end. You can go through the shortcut, but it really doesn't save that much time, honestly. Especially since you don't get much usage out of it. This race could be very uneventful if WZ has the shock.
And it looks like Skitty's winning bagging by quite a bit. Not going to mean too much. It looks like he's only going to get 1 or maybe 2 boxes in 10th. We'll see if he even gets 1. But
Yeah, at least for CB's sake, they don't get the shock there, else top 3 would have ended up dodging.
Looks like the baggers have just gotten back, and probably nobody has it yet. So
and what a
baggers
pow
gonna be
pull
painting
for
boxes in
WZ. That's going to kill a lot of CB members for sure. The 2 of them shroom up, and Quinn actually ends up dying to an unknown object.
So that's going to expand TK's lead 2-3 though for CB.
Actually, I don't. Is it top? Oh yeah, it is. Wow, they broke into top spots relatively easily. I don't know really how they did that. Maybe a little bit of a slip up by Quinn and Edison, but looks like they probably just shroomed up to the straight. They're gonna break these mid spots. Who do you think has the shock right now? Looks like CB has it because TK just sat there. They're gonna end up they're gonna like to not use it there, and that benefits them because they're able to...
See the Daisy just up there by the U-turn, not where the baggers usually sit. Like we see Skitty there on the side. So most likely we're looking at a CB shock, and Proof is just trying to protect it. Edison holding a Mega, going to try to predict something.
Nice bomb snipe there, but it looked like CB was going to use that shock until TK slowed down all the way because Kyle ended up using his bill. So you might see a target shock coming up around these ramps here, or target shocking on the ramp. He's just going to stop Mega there. And they might... okay.
Zero picked up the stars, so he might try to get Edison out here.
Yeah, the CB's top 2, and a bill afterwards. Oh,
and that's going to be a double dodge for CB.
Easily. A
lot of bottom spots
6.
for WZ. That's going to help CB's case here in the early game.
Wow, I can't believe they broke into top 2 like that.
Yeah, super well done there. Towards the beginning of lap 3, middle of lap 2-ish. CB did a pretty good job of breaking into those top spots because WZ had a great beginning of the race, getting the top 3 break, but with the help of the shock and the bill, CB's able to get a really good race off that. So, well done by them.
Yeah, I mean...
And yeah, top 3-6 for CB. So, looking at a close one here.
Yeah, now they get the top 3 track pick if they do get it. Most likely going to be something like BCW along the lines of a lot of teams like to pick that one top 3. Rainbow Road if you like that track. I don't think CB's going to pick Rainbow Road. I don't think they like that track much. So I'd assume it'd be something very basic.
BCW maybe. So CB slicing WZ's lead now, only 5 points.
Yep. Stopping the momentum. And now just like that, 5-point lead. Like you said,
WollywogZ going to GV. They like to use this as a little comeback track, change the momentum.
We get a Moon View pick. Okay, a GV reset track, obviously one of the more popular reset tracks for Tier 1 teams. It seems like.
And Moonview and DKS coming out from CB with a little BCW sprinkled in there, but it's going to be GV. So a little bit.
A little bit of shredded cheese and GV. Alright.
So WZ with another track pick, second one in a row, third of the war.
Yeah, that's a big track pick. I mean, top 3 isn't as big as top 2-4, because top 2-4 you had an automatic TF, which, I mean, I'd say you have an 80% chance of winning a top 2-4, but speaking of that, CB elects to go 2-run, going past the first set. And Edison's going to try to make a play, and the bomb goes a little bit too far. A little bit unlucky. That didn't explode a little bit earlier because he definitely timed that with lag estimation. He pulls a shroom.
Win chucked up those greens a little bit reckless there with 2 teams behind you and just so many walls in there just to bump around on.
Nice nanas, and that nudge might mess them up. Okay, nice.
Very clean,
pretty good.
GV rock there from Edison. And that is why WZ wanted to pick it, because that one shortcut, now we see a lot of top spots for WollywogZ. And Edison breaking away.
I think I may have seen CB 2, 3, 4, but that POW just killed anyone that had shrooms. You see someone spinning out according to the minimap, and Edison's gonna have a pretty good break. Unfortunately for him, this is one of the tracks that the break doesn't matter too much, especially if you dodge into respawn. Yeah, because he would easily be overtaken.
From the bagging battle, we see Prove able to get all the way back, pulling shrooms, making the strat, and Skitty chaining boxes in 9th. And you see him go up there on the ramp. That is pretty much an automatic tell that WZ does have the shot.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky, but sometimes now at least you have the information that they probably have the shock, so you could probably play a little bit around it, maybe hit them a little bit.
Prove right now, I'm sure, is telling them that they have shock and just to be ready for, either a cut prevention or just dodging the bottom spots and cut. But
so we see Kyle. I saw Kyle in second. That's really the only piece of information we have right now. We'll definitely get some information coming up here, assuming that shock's going to be used at the cut. Here's a POW, though. That POW might be bad for WZ, but Casper makes it in anyway. They'll get top 2 secure. So
pretty good shock there by WZ, just confirming the winning race. Played it safe, pretty well done there, and that's all you really need to do on a track like GV is just to protect that top
CB
spot if you're able to get it.
is just going to try to salvage all the mid spots. They do get 3-4, so not the worst on a track that if you get the shock can be very, very deadly. But looks like that POW could not get Casper in time. That could have been a WZ POW fall. Maybe trying to get him over the air of the platform or a ramp, but there was a CB POW a little bit mistimed because that POW could have been so huge to prevent Casper from taking the cut.
Yeah.
But they do a decent job at salvaging 3, 4, 5, and it looks like it'll be around 10, 12 point lead probably for the WollywogZ.
Yeah.
Maybe 14,
so
16.
Taking advantage of their track. That's really one of the more unfortunate bagging tracks. I probably one of my least favorite, just because Prove was able to get those shrooms early and take the backwards cut, which respawns them around the platforms. And Skitty, who probably either pulled a bill or a star, just something he can't get back with, his really only option at that point is to chain box at the 9th, and that's exactly what he did, and was able to pull it. Because while Prove is getting backwards, he's only touching like 1 or 2 boxes by the time Skitty gets like 5 or 6 if he's chaining stars and triple shrooms. So Skitty,
you had a lot more than that.
As high as possible, he's able to pull it.
I'll say that barreling through boxes takes skill. Spamming boxes also takes skill. Hitting that box at 33 seconds, precisely on the dot. 10th gets bill, you get shock and knife. It's that easy sometimes.
It's that easy.
But no. This game is a little bit RNG, situational RNG. Sometimes there's only so much you can do, but it's more about trying to correct even the smallest mistakes you make, and that can sometimes kill your race. So being very critical of your own gameplay can sometimes lead to your greatness.
Well, like you said, 12-point lead for WollywogZ after 1 GP, so pretty close match here so far. And CB getting their pick for Mushroom Gorge. Pretty good for the middle spots.
Pretty good reset track.
Those nice maybe triple shroom spots. Get up there, take the gap.
Yeah, first set is triple shrooms and 6 is probably the most common item. So if anyone gets that box, you could be golden set for this race. But regardless, we're seeing Edison a lot more in the top spots.
Yeah, a lot of front presence for Edison, especially these past 3 races.
So we see the first couple gap takers.
One from each team. Casper now ahead. Kyle in second. Most likely going to be seeing at least one of them take the shortcut again.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. None of them golden. So there's a good chance that I'd say maybe both of them have shrooms. No one getting hit yet either.
I just saw Kyle use 1 shroom to get away from that red as well. So.
Well, we saw 1 green, so that means one of the members does not have a shroom. So, but Edison pulling a nice shroom in third. Kyle doing the gap.
Kyle taking the gap. I don't think he has another shroom though, because I'm pretty sure I did see him shroom away from that red that Edison threw right after the 3 mushrooms. So we're looking at Kyle getting glued off in midair.
Oh no!
That's a tough break for him right when he gets into first.
But it looks like, do you think Prove has the shock or no? Let's see if he falls off. He's just kind of sitting there. Maybe he does actually have the shock because he's just sitting on those green mushrooms. And there it is. A shocking into play. They miss a TS, but that's what they were going for. Not sure how many you dodged. I saw 1, but maybe that was just a chain on the boost pads.
Well, that was a really good shock for Edison. Looks like he's being able to hold first despite any gap takers.
Yeah,
so.
I'm assuming the guy that dodged is going to get second from CB. Yeah,
here comes Zero. Looks like maybe a 2-3 here for CB. So this could still be a winning race for them. Yeah, 2-3-4, I think, with Tricks that are coming in behind. And so 2-3-4 for CB. Edison doing a great job of holding top spots.
Yeah, really solid. I mean, the shock's a little bit unorthodox, but maybe WZ was caught off guard a little bit, maybe predicting they would shock Edison over the gap. Instead, they just shock him earlier, so he doesn't even have a chance to get TS. But works out in their favor. They get 2, 3, 4. So
2, 3, 4, 7. So after 5, looking real close still.
Very close. I think CB was regarded as predicted as what, the 6th team in this
Yeah,
division?
they were predicted to finish last in this division, while WZ I believe was 4th.
4th, okay.
So CB maybe a bit of an underdog here. Had a pretty good
they
GP.
definitely hang in there.
It
was a good shock. I mean, not trying to do anything too fancy with it. Just dodging one and getting an easy chain. But let's see if Zero goes Daisy. We haven't seen BC3 or BCW picked. I'd say his BCW glitch attempts or success rate is probably around, if I had to guess, war with him, maybe 65, 70%.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not 100. He's definitely failed it. But he's definitely capable of making it, though. I mean, if you don't play this game every day, if you're not very active, obviously you're not going to make it all the time. But
yeah,
he's definitely a little bit more active than I think he used to be. But I don't think CB's warred a ton lately. They've warred here and there from what I've noticed, but not as active as they used to be. And activity is a big thing about this game, too. I mean, even not playing the game for a day or two, you could definitely feel like, oh man, this is my warm-up GP.
Yeah.
Definitely. For some reason, with this game, you kind of have to be warmed up. And I think that's with any competitive setting, though. With any competitive video game. Assuming that everyone practiced before this, which very well could be the case, or very well could not be the case. So DKS being picked and some Parkways. CB does love them some Parkway. But DKS coming out.
Saw Kyle with a 34-point GP there. Might be seeing some super sub here.
Super sub after one race. Sub. That's kind of nuts. It's good they had a sub on standby, though. I can't relate to that sometimes. But regardless, looks like 1-4 for the WollywogZ out of the cannon. Sometimes this track, if you get triple streams early, you're going to be in first. So see if anyone takes the cut. See TK does, but he won't be in first. Or maybe he will be top 2. And looks like someone got redded there.
Able to get that red to connect, but a little bit of a...
this is going to be a scuffed double. Okay, I think he still made it. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1-3. Still for the WollywogZ.
The TK, as we saw, was able to take the cut at the beginning. He's breaking away already. This is a track where if you're able to take the shortcut quickly and consistently, you're able to get a pretty good lead. So,
yep. Take a guessing game with the lag estimation. Doesn't hurt. Looks like some more mixed spots.
The baggers making the backstrat pretty much at the same time. Not something you see a ton.
There's a well-timed red throw that ends up hitting him. Knowing the physics of this game is very important. Storm is at least able to stream back up in a second for his sake, though. But a good play nonetheless.
Can't really tell who's 10th right now. Backers are neck and neck.
Oh, yep, he hit the invisible wall.
Edison on the invisible wall. That's what happens when you drift up too tight or too early.
Yeah, that's gonna
probably one of the more common fails. But...
So that's really bad, not just individually, but team-wise, because obviously your individual points matter towards the team. But I think Casperinos is still up there somewhere around the line.
TK's up there still. So we're looking at pretty much middle spots for CB.
Oh, they're top 2. Look at that. I just got a glimpse of it. Casper hanging on to second so far, but might get destroyed at the cut here. Might get lag bumped. Anyone have shock? Let's see. Kyle's in the star.
Kyle in a star. Looks like Prove's going forwards. Skitty coming back to chase him.
I don't think anyone has it, really.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I don't think anyone has it. And Edison...
Looks like he got bumped a little
double.
Bit for the double. Oh, and Casper probably ends up failing too. I don't know why he's back.
This is a bottom 3 for WZ. So I think TK still was able to hold first, like we saw, just able to get that lead right from the beginning. But WZ choking the double lap 2 and 3 and getting bottom 3 is not what you like to see. We saw how he had a bit of a scuffed one lap 1. He had to hold back pretty much instantly, barely landing from it. But then laps 2 and 3. hitting the invisible wall, and then just shrooming at just a really bad time. It's going to result in the last place for Edison.
Yeah.
So winning race for CB, and that might give him the lead.
Fortunately, it's hard to play 100% perfect, but if with 3 of your team members, I think, failed the double, it's not a good look.
No.
And sometimes I go back to the whole consistency thing, right? That's like all 3 of them just flopping a little bit, even if they got bumped. CB playing it probably a lot more safer than the WollywogZ, and ends up paying out for their favor. So 2, 3, 4, 5 for CB, and they're gonna take the lead.
So the CB with a 4-point lead halfway through. But with this one bottom 3, they're going with Coconut Mall. Pretty good choice, able to get the bill early, and it's pretty good for starting at first. Very technical track. So players who have really good lines there are able to break away easily. More so than most tracks.
Yeah, Parkway's a pretty good track for these spots, actually. 2, 3, 4, 5. You get probably a draft on first, even if first readjusts the line, because in third, we usually end up getting the draft. And on top of that, you practically get every box, I'm pretty sure. You could take 2 boxes easily and leave the WollywogZ itemless unless they wait for the first set of item boxes to respawn. So,
and with that little Daisy advantage too.
2 of them stop, so we'll see.
And Edison set one bill. He's telling Skitty right now, go through the boxes, and Skitty's going to get an early lead.
Barrel through them, yeah.
Just drive through those boxes. Now with that, Prove is telling his team, hey, they got Bill somewhere. So, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, assuming that Skyleaf or Skitty that doesn't do that already, just barreling through the boxes, there's a good chance he knows, yeah.
See, neither bagger got a box before 30, and Skitty fails the backstrat respawning. So Prove's going to take a huge lead in the bagging department.
Okay, well, if I were Skitty here, I'm just going through the boxes.
Yeah. If you're Skitty here, you should be going for boxes in 9th for sure.
What a play by Trix. He intentionally gets hit, obviously, and he greens Edison off.
just some 200 IQ plays from Division 1. And back to Skitty. If you know your teammate has the bill, the only chance he has of catching Prove in last is if he pulls bill and has to fall off with it. So really, he loses nothing by just kind of going for boxes in 9th there. The only risk you run with it is the other team getting 2 shocks because they're going to be in 10th by a lot.
So we see CB 6-7. I believe 0 switched to Daisy.
He did, yeah. So he's in 2nd. Still, bottom spots here for WollywogZ. Kind of mixed, actually, but
probably still has. He's not using anything. Yeah, he's just going to try to have to dodge Skitty, and there he goes. And he doesn't avoid.
And Proof spins out.
I don't know how he didn't avoid that bill. Luckily for him, though, he still is in 10th.
Yeah.
So he's got a good crack of still pulling it, but CB probably needs a shock.
Man, it looks like he just pulled Bill.
2, 4, 5, and a blue shell pull. Now, this is interesting. If Prove has the shock, is he going to throw this blue before cannon? And no. Okay, so CB does not have the shock.
We still got a shockless race on our hands, looks like.
Yeah, and I think
Prove driving backwards, not going into the water here. I think we're looking at a CB shock. Yeah,
and if I think the WollywogZ knew Prove had it, and if, let's say, Skitty didn't, Bill, whatever. I'll talk about it later. Kyle dodges, and that'll probably be probably around a 2-3-4 for CB. I mean, Storm's going to have to hold on to his 4th. I don't know how he's going to do it. He's going to need a perfect item here. And that might be the perfect item. Oh, but TK counters it.
Not when the Mega's behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle coming, going to really mess up Ed. Yeah. And it's Trix's pass, so well played by him to salvage one spot. Looks like it still was in favor of WZ, but
looks like
going to be close.
7, so, yeah. WZ got bombed, too. I think CB at least got 2-3, so they ended up winning the race. But what I was trying to say is before Skitty build Prove, and let's say the WollywogZ definitely knew they had the shock 100% and he missed with the bill, I was curious to see if they're going to throw the blue before the cannon so they couldn't lose it. Because obviously that's one of the ways how you counteract cannon shocks is you throw the blue before cannon, they overtake first, and then they get blued afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a strat
the blue just takes so long to go through cannon.
Yeah, it's a strat still in the works. I don't think a lot of teams still even do it, even tier 1 teams, but it was the right play in that sense because obviously they didn't shock and Prove just got built, so there's a good chance he didn't pull it right away.
Mm-hmm. So 1-3 for CB. Going to add on to that lead by just a little bit again. So still anybody's game. super tight match. We saw CB come back from that top 3 race win from WollywogZ, so really anything can happen in this match. And CB just getting those small winning races and climbing back. Pretty impressive showing from them so far. And Edison looks a bit distraught here.
Yeah, CB up 13. I mean, pretty impressive stuff. They're playing some good Mario Kart Wii. They're not. I don't think they're making too many mistakes. I mean, obviously that DKS race was probably from either team the biggest misplay from each. So. But Mountain's gonna get picked. I mean, they love this track too, so they do have a daisy in the room, so that is a little bit of an advantage. It's easier to dodge pals, and it's a lot faster to take the shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a sensible pick here.
Yeah, CB getting some of their signature tracks in here. By signature tracks, I mean daisy tracks.
Parkway isn't actually too much of a daisy track.
It's not, but it is an obnoxious track.
For a lot of people, I'd say, yeah. But the WollywogZ able to break these top spots very quickly. And even though this is a daisy favored track, you can still have some really nice lines with Funky. And also you're fatter a lot, but there is a mistake there. That's going to cost Edison second, and Zero is going to move up to the ranks. And we'll see how fast he's able to...
1-4 for WollywogZ.
Early blue pull. It's actually a really nice pull, too, in fourth.
Yeah.
So even if
Zero is able to make a play, he's going to get punished for it.
Both the baggers are just sitting there at the signature set before the ramp. And, a top 3 for the WollywogZ. I think at this point, if you're proved, you might need to start going for it. Now, obviously, they don't know they have the blue yet, but I don't see how they're going to break up this top 3 without the blue shell or shock. Maybe a POW could impact their races a little bit, but that's really
with the exception of 8th place, this pack is super tight. So
that's true.
Nice throw there. Looks like I was by Tricks. He was in 4th, maybe. So really nice throw there. Target POW on top 2. So CB, without the use of a shock or blue, looks like they're able to possibly break in here.
We do see Storm falling off, though, and I think the WollywogZ are still top 2-4. At least they're able to pull a blue, maybe, though. But I think the WollywogZ are still really good spots. And, a couple of them.
Wing goes down.
Doesn't look like anyone's going to get the shock. Baggers are still at a standstill.
See nothing coming from the cannon. Yeah, looks like no bag. Usually a bagger runs away by this point.
A really nice race for the WollywogZ. We could be around tie going into last GP. Edison trying to make a mid-air snipe, maybe a little bit premature. Another POW coming in.
Another POW.
Let's see how that shakes up things. And it looks like the WollywogZ played safe.
It's not going to do much. Edison with triple reds, maybe make a play on Zero, but with the triple greens in front of him, probably not. Bomb up, maybe?
It's not enough air.
Not enough air time. So WZ top 2-4-5, and that's going to give them the lead going into the last 3 races. So like I said, this has just been a cat and mouse game back and forth with these two teams, and it's been pretty fun to watch. But shockless race there on CB's pick. WZ able to take advantage big time. So we'll get a score update in just 1 second. And while we wait for that, for those of you who don't remember, after GP2 we're doing it now, but after race 9, but... Oh, actually, no. Let's do it now. So after race 8, we got 4 races left. WZ just taking the lead. And for those of you who don't remember, we have a little analysis portion here going into GP3. Usually we have Chili, we have Klein. Today we got someone new. We have a member of Phantasmagoria and Exalt FFA finalist, Crow. So Crow, whenever you're ready, floor is yours. And just let us know what you've been watching. Trix's, not Trix's. You've been watching Zero's POV with their call.
Trix's.
You have been watching Trix's. Okay.
Yeah.
So Trix's POV with call. What have you noticed here from CB? Because it's been super close to doing a great job competing with this WZ team.
Yeah, they
so
are doing a good job.
What have they been doing well?
Before this war started, I had 3 initial predictions. One was that Prove was going to win the bagging battle. Trix was going to be the main presence in front, and WZ was going to take away early. But none of those were really true. I mean, Skitty's gotten a few shocks in 9th, but he's been able to hold his own. Prove's gotten a lot in 10th. It hasn't just been Tricks; it's been a lot of Storm too. Not as of late, but earlier on towards GP1, Storm was up there a lot, and it's very close as you can see. So kind of got debunked on all of those. But CB has been doing a very good job of always staying in 8th and getting an 8th place dodge. So whether or not there's a shock for CB or WZ, they're able to nullify the WZ shock or perhaps get a dodge of their own. So that's a good job by them. Also, WZ is doing a very good job of always having someone in first. Conversely, this has kind of hurt them in some sense. DKS, GV, and RDKM were a few tracks where they were kind of hurt by people in first only. CB was rewarded for kind of pressuring TK and Edison, who were the sole people in first. But there's not much they could have done there. So yeah, this is pretty nitpicky on CB, but I would have liked to see Tricks on DKS at least to spam for blue. He held his mega for a while, and he wasn't really going to get much out of it, but he just kept on holding his mega. I mean, like I said, it's super critical, but he could have perhaps spammed for blue and got TK out of there and got a top 3 for CB. But yeah.
All right. I just have one question. What has been Kyle's role since entering the war here? Really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Kyle, he's been doing a good job of being that 8th place dodger a lot of the time. But as seen on MT when he dodged at the end. And I think it was MG as well. Or no, that was Storm. But Kyle is, if you don't know Kyle,
Let me see him do that right there.
Yeah. If you don't know Kyle, he's an old player for Flow, and he recently came back, and he's provided a lot of frontal presence and just everything for CB. He did a good job running on a few tracks, and he's also done a good job of staying in back, like I said, in 8th, getting that dodge, preventing WZ from getting dodges and nullifying their shocks. But yeah, Tricks Casper is someone who's kind of deviated from his role, or not necessarily role. Role is incorrect, but deviated from his strengths. He's usually known for his running presence, and I haven't seen him in the front as much as he usually is, but he's been schlagging more. He schlagged on RDKJP with that fib, and he's also schlagged with those reds on MT, which have helped WZ a lot. So, yeah.
All right.
Well, Crow, thank you so much. While you were talking, CB just got a huge top 3-5. So they have taken the lead now going into the last 3. So that's going to be, I'm sure, pretty good for the momentum. So, Crow, thank you so much. We'll see you for the post game.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
All right. So
we're going to the last 3 races here.
I'm going to try to give my best chance of a summary of what happened in that race. So, very prevalent. Triple shrooms, very, very good pull on this track, obviously. But it looked like only CB, when they shroom in the top 2, they only actually got 1 shroom. But they did a really good job of hitting WZ with their items. You saw Zero make a nice snipe lap 3, got Edison right out of there as soon as he shroomed up. And then he got instantly blued, but a really quick shock call. I mean, I don't even think WollywogZ is expecting that shock. Or if they did, they used all their dodges lap 3 at the first set, the chain, and just take the shortcut. So Kyle was able to take advantage of that, holding his star. They cancel the blue, and everything just falls into place. You see Storm also shrooming. He bumps into Edison, makes him lose all of his time, and not even give him a box. And it was just a huge race. Just played really, 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 really well. By CB.
So CB,
they do some really good shocks in this
17
sport.
lead.
I mean, that shot just worked out. I mean, and I think maybe if the WollywogZ used their stuff, they just realized that canceling the blue is probably the best play. And I mean, it indeed was, as the results show, top 3. Even though Zero did get bumped, I think, around the flower patch. But boy, what a change of events.
Yeah. WZ with the huge race and CB just getting him right back with a bigger one. And unfortunately not able to hold those spots as we had to as that's the race for the GP. But
And CB, I mean, they're always a sneaky team. I mean, even when I play with them, I feel like we were still like a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
I think they're showing it here on the live stream. Ryan accidental lead.
I think a lot of people were counting them out with maybe not too many highlight players. Obviously, Trick's very, very strong. Been a very good player for a long time. But the rest of the lineup, a lot of people feel like are question marks. But they're showing that everyone in this team is very competent.
The RBC pick coming out, I'm going to assume that would be a CB pick. But triple shrooms and 6, not a terrible pull. But you can't do any damage with this right away. And 0 could be a little bit hectic with these greens, and there it is. He's going to stop and do what he has to do. And look at
he got 2 members of WZ while Casper hit something else. So a lot of bottom spots for the
He's done a good job at it. It's a couple times now.
Storm with the TC pass as well.
And
so
that's the classic good
great position for a winning race.
Good TC pull, and oh my gosh, it's just
it's a bloodbath.
0 doesn't actually connect on anyone with the Mega, but he slows the TK down a little bit at least, and he's separating his bottom 2 a little bit from the front pack. But he's done a good job to start this race to separate things. So,
this is when CB is their strongest, is when half the team is schlagging and Trix is able to just stay in first and stay in a top spot. This is where the team thrives the most. But it looks like for the most part, the top of the pack is still pretty tight.
I was about to say why he wasn't spamming.
I think we might have a bit of a...
Oh no. Might have to go into the future. Okay, I think we're good. So lap 2, Edison 6, Quinn in 5th, I think. Deep in the back. A 1 through 4. See if who has the shock. It looks like both of them are still going backwards. Probably indicating that no one has it yet. But it is very close.
He might have just pulled it, but still CBC WZ here, we're able to break those spots, and they're 1-3. Tricks, main top spot for CB right now. Edison, bananas up, super close.
Yeah, good reflexes there, but Tricks.
See if there's a late shock, maybe shake things up.
Oh, let's see, this could be a top 2 for the Wolves. Oh, that red! Oh, I thought that was going to side red him. Oh, but there's a shock. It looks like no one dodges. Okay. That's a shock in the box for 7.
It's like a WZ shock, and
CB
maybe just to protect the top 2.
A good race for the WollywogZ. An impressive race for the WollywogZ, in fact, that they were able to break those top spots, especially getting hit a little bit early lap 1. Unfortunately, I don't think we have footage of that, but it was very uneventful.
Edison put a lot of pressure there on Tricks towards the spiral, and into lap 3 did a very good job able to make him top 2. So well played by Edison.
Yeah, I thought that red, just a 5% chance of probably hitting him on the side, and then that could have been very bad for him.
Luckily for Edison, he was able to outspeed it, get on the rail, but top 2, 5-7 for WZ, and they're climbing right back. 4-point lead for CB with only 2 left, and we got an exciting one.
Let's hope this one doesn't rain out. It's a 4-point lead. Wow. So probably going to see a reset track, I assume.
Yeah, reset track from CB. WZ going with TF despite not having 4th. I know they do think that the 2-5 is strong enough as drafting spots to pick TF. So first is a little swervy at the beginning. TF is able to get that lead as well. So definitely going to be their strategy for that. CB, Gino score. Very popular reset track. So pretty much what you'd expect from both these. And
TF. Okay, so I mean, we're running out of time. They get the perfect top 2 for TF pick. So they're just going to like to pick it with the top 2. It's still a pretty good top 2 track. You're just going to probably swerve a little bit to the right. And second's probably going to end up taking this first box. Unless they want to do first, take the first, and second, take the second. See what they like to do, though.
A few different box strategies. And it's like
but
able to get that's exactly what they want. And top 3 lead here now. And the TC from Tricks is bad news for CB.
I hate to say it, but this one could be a wrap already. Knowing TF, this could be a top 2. But Zero's going to have to provide some presence. And it looks like
pretty well.
Yeah, he's in the midst of it, but he is a daisy, so he might be getting bumped a lot.
Yeah. So we're looking
This
at
is
a
like one of the few
135.
tracks where it's literally decided on the first 3 turns or so. But regardless, looks like maybe yeah, it's a 3-4 for CB. So I think at this point you're gonna try to just salvage
Edison,
what you
nice
can.
snipe on 0 there, going full aggro with these greens. Doesn't care that Storm has reds in front of him.
Yeah, that's a great play. Now top 2-4. I mean, you're gonna probably just start chaining stuff with the blues. Maybe one of them has the bill though.
And that's
That's
part of
actually a pretty fortunate pull for Edison. He's
and
able
pulls
to
the mega after pass
give it
to
right
the
to Trix.
team. So WZ in great position here to win this race.
Oh, but he gets backed. That's going to hurt them a little bit. I think at this point, your CB, you got to try to get the mid spots the best you can. But it looks like one of the CB members probably build up. They got really close to third all of a sudden, so they're going to have to make a play to at least get in second. Or else this is a wrap. It looks like, is that one of the baggers? Yeah, one of the baggers is going forward. So Skitty also is the shock. This is going to be a huge race for the WollywogZ if CB can't do anything about it. So.
You see Trix falling way behind after that nice.
Kyle is going to use a star. Okay, Quinn's in a build. They're going to just call him out. Oh, Zero's going to use a star, though. They got to make a decision here. They're just going to end up holding it. I think I may have also saw blue.
Looks like one my eye. Play it safe here. Maybe get Edison at the very end.
Yep, they're going to cancel the blue. No, okay, it's a late cancel. I don't know what that was, but regardless.
Back here now, and so is Quinn. That might have not been too terrible for CB, but that's still a 1-3-4 for WollywogZ. And
I think maybe CB got 2-3. I don't know for sure, but it was definitely very, very close in that regard.
Pretty sure
I think that was a late blue cancel, though. I think you saw him still spinning out, and then he spun out again. So maybe a little bit of a Discord lag, or maybe they were trying to time 0 out of the star. Maybe they thought he was still in a star. But some good dodges used for CB. They chained them very well, and you see Storm gets
Storm with the first play.
Oh, I thought they had 2-3, but okay, I was completely off. What am I looking at? First, that's it.
We got a pretty close one going into race 12. WZ will take the lead off that, but obviously anyone's game. And track pick working out for WollywogZ. Played that beginning super well. Looks like Storm was able to sneak in at the very end, especially with that blue, but WZ strong race. See what they want to go with here for race 12 to hold that lead.
And it comes down to this 4-point lead. It's pretty much nothing at this point. So
after that race, I think it's WZ is up by about 9.
Oh, it's not updated. My bad. Might be -9.
Should have that
+9.
momentarily. Moonbeach Highway coming out and Peach Beach for CB.
So it looks like CB just gonna roll the die.
They're just gonna play their bottom spots, and WZ want to play their top spots.
We're gonna get a clown fiesta. Clown fiesta for the last race.
340 to 331 in favor of WZ with 1 race to go. Anybody's game. CB gonna need a pretty good race here though to catch them.
Yeah, I think that Edison would try to draft someone. He's going to try to draft second because he knows that first is going to swerve. Oh, he doesn't get a good start, and Storm actually ends up popping WZ member right away. And it looks like CB gets a box in 5th, so let's see what kind of good news that is. And it's just triple reds, which Edison will actually not dodge the last one.
CB able to take over 4-5.
So a 1-4. Ooh, that's a nice pull, though.
Bottom spots for WZ looks like 5-6-8. So CB wanting to hold the
Trix gave that. I was about to say if Trix gave that to Edison, that would be.
Catherine was able to give it back, but Edison with this golden in 4th is going to take him all the way to second.
Yeah, I was going to say if he got that TC, that would have been bad for them. But it's a 1-3 for CB. I mean, they could win off a 1-3, assuming they get 1-3-4-ish probably. So
he proved in 10th, so CB can make a shock play if he's able to pull it, but it looks like he's fallen off into the water.
Hey,
Skitty staying there at 9 might be a shock for WZ.
Pow coming in. Let's see a power red. There's the power red, and he's paying the price for it. Oh, that's a top 3 for CB. There's no shock. This is a wrap. There is a blue though. That's going to connect on the line. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Edison doesn't have a
Storm might be safe here, just passing by his teammates, and that's a top 3 for CB. That might be enough.
top 3 to end it, pending, of course, no penalties.
Of course, pending penalties, but CB holding Storm, great job holding first that entire race, obviously. And then Zero and Kyle able to get up there towards the end. Really well done, pal, getting Edison right next to that quacker in front of the second to last set of boxes. And really made all the nice plays there. Obviously, it's Peach Beach, short track, kind of a jokey track, but they played it super well, and that is going to be enough to give CB the lead and the win.
Wow. Hectic ending there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know. The CB, they just perform so well in leagues. And it's all, it's cool to see. I'm on the team, so I guess it is.
CB held super strong there at the end.
That's crazy.
So with a final score of 371 to 361, CB will be winning week 1 against WollywogZ. And back with us here for a quick post game, we have Crow yet again. And Crow, pretty crazy ending here. What was CB's mindset going into that last race?
I think their experience really showed. They've all been playing with each other for a long time now, and some smaller teams tend to crumble with stress and with intense situations, but CB didn't. They always play well in leagues, as you said, Yoshter. Always upset. I don't know if it's an upset. They played very well. But yeah, they also, I don't think WZ necessarily even played bad either. CB just showed that they were the clutcher team in the end.
Yeah. Now, CB had the lead going into those last 3 races. WZ gets that big race on TF. What was their attitude going into race 12? What was it like after that TF result?
So I actually didn't hear the call, but I'd imagine they just stayed focused and played Peach Beach like any other race, because there's no point to just stress over it and worry about it, because you're just only gonna play worse. But they maintained focus. Tricks kind of failed at the end there, but it didn't end up mattering. They still got a good race. I think Shock wasn't really able to get used, but yeah, they did it fine. Shock wasn't really.
I guess for the WollywogZ, I think they lost this war on DKS in terms of like the overall result. I think them falling off. I think 3 of them fell off at different times of the race. And only a 10-point victory and giving up a 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that was detrimental to the result. It's probably the biggest reasons why they lost as a team. But CB obviously played very well as a team. And outside of the DKS race for the WollywogZ, I think they played pretty well too, though.
Yeah. There's also like an element of sleeping on CB. Maybe WZ thought it was an easy match, easy win, and they just kind of went into the match lethargic and didn't care and just went through it. Oh, we're going to win. But clearly wasn't the case. CB.
And that's not a weak WZ lineup by any means.
Yeah.
Obviously, any lineup with Casper and Edison in it's going to be strong. So
yeah, I'd argue that's their best LU this season at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty exciting one here for our first week of matches coming out D1. Obviously, we had that D7 match earlier, but this is the big stage here, and first match really well played by both teams. Crow, thank you once again for coming in and doing the analysis for us.
Thank you.
And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Any last thoughts, Yoshter?
No, I think I'm good. So all I need to say.
Well, with the final score of 371 to 361, Charge Brigade wins week 1 in Division 1 of the Mario Kart Professional Series Summer Split. As always, thank you guys for tuning in to Mario Kart Wars. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a follow, maybe subscribe. We have new subscriber badges as of yesterday, so a little bit of incentive there. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.